What's going on, guys? It is a Tuesday night. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you here, and Tuesday typically favors a tropical discussion because it coincides with the long-range outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. You may have seen that if you follow me on Facebook. That's at Jonathan Kegges News 6, by the way. We're coming up at you live on News 6 Plus on and on clickorlando.com, and of course on the News 6 YouTube page. It's what I'm trying to get out tonight. So thank you guys so much for being here. We are going to talk about a Caribbean wave, a potential Caribbean wave. It's out there. It's off of Africa. I think it's getting a little bit of extra hype than it should be. However, it's with good reason. There's some model support. I'm going to let you know what you should be looking at and what you shouldn't be looking at if you like to kind of track this stuff on your own. There's also a second cold front on the horizon for Florida. Now, this could go into creating some severe weather across the nation's heartland. It will be much weaker for us, but it should help to reinforce the drier air as we get into next week. Rain chances are going to be relatively low. So let me know if you're here for the tropics. Let me know if you're here for the Florida discussion, and we're going to get into it. I'm just going to be pretty quick here on the Florida part because it is very cut and dry. Even on a quiet day, I like to go in depth. But since we have so much to get to on the tropics, I just want to kind of get you up to speed with what's going on with the Florida weather. And then we're going to dive. I'll take a shorter break, or at least the break shorter in the show tonight. And then we are going to, we'll get to it with the tropics a little while longer. So I'm going to stop rambling now. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from if you are a first-time finder of the show. And by the way, we're here every Monday through Friday at 9:30. Do me a favor, let me know that. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from, if it's from across the country or from the great state of Florida. I'd love to know what part you're tuning in from because we do talk about the entire state weather-wise. Pensacola, we're at 85 tomorrow, 86 in Tallahassee, and we have a few extra clouds on the eastern half of the Florida Peninsula. That's one of the reasons why we're on the cooler side relative to normal. It's in the upper 70s in Jacksonville. Boy, it's been feeling nice out there. We are at 83 degrees in Orlando tomorrow. Vero Beach, we're at 82. Miami, we are coming in at 85 degrees. So we're going to keep things on the cooler side going forward. Clouds and rain forecast for the rest of today, a whole lot of nothing. I will say tomorrow, you see it right there, there's the opportunity because we shift our winds back off of the Atlantic again, and we'll run the risk of a few quick hitting downpours. That's it. Okay, so I have rain chances tomorrow at 10%. So don't be shocked if you're east of I-4 and along the I-95 corridor in Atlantic beaches if you do see a quick hitting downpour or shower. It's not going to be anything too crazy, okay? It's not going to be anything too wild out there. Let's see here. Hey, Jennifer, what's going on in Jacksonville? Thanks for joining the show tonight. Zachary is asking, going to Savannah, Georgia, Friday to Sunday, and come home on Sunday. Any bad weather for those days? On Sunday, we are going to be doing some dodging. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull up. This is going to be the European model, and I have all the fronts and stuff drawn on here. So leave it on. I have it starting on Saturday. So Friday, you're good to go. Friday, it's still pretty much perfect. Saturday, I think, is looking pretty good as well. Let's take this further out. Atlanta by Sunday morning. So there's Sunday morning. That's Sunday morning. It's not anything crazy, at least in Savannah yet. You see that coming in from the west. And then by Sunday evening, late afternoon, evening, there could be rain in Savannah through Jacksonville and then down parts of the Big Bend, I-75 corridor. So that's one of the things. I would not bet on seeing rain, Melissa, tomorrow. I wouldn't bet on it. It's not a 0% chance. It's only 10. I would not bet on seeing rain tomorrow. If I was a betting person, I would put my money on the dry weather tomorrow. You may get a passing, quick-hitting shower, but that's about it. That's about it. All right, and this is going to take us into a short break. This is, but it's perfectly timed here by our friend Critty. Def got to watch this wave. Could get into the Caribbean, possibly develop, and that OHC, man. He's talking about the ocean heat content. I have that graphic queued up in the show for the tropical portion of the show tonight. I'll be back in 3 minutes. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, where the wave is now, where the Climate Prediction Center has it highlighted in maybe a week or two, and where we go from there. So, all that stuff coming up in just about 3 minutes. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Critty brings another a good point here. He says, I'm a little surprised we don't have a blip for this yet. The reason is it's because it's beyond 7 days. So the Hurricane Center only highlights things 7 days out. So I'm sure we're going to get one in the next few days. But this brings me to my first point about this tropical wave. And we're going to get to the weather computer in just 1 second. I am working on posting a YouTube video for our Just Weather page. It's literally called Just Weather. That's going to go in a little more in depth to some of this stuff here over the next couple of days, weather-wise across the country. But here is the tropical wave. My first point is, and if anybody has been looking at the models with this, it keeps on delaying it and delaying it. It first looked like the 18th or 19th. Then it looked like the 21st and the 22nd. And now it's like the 24th or the 25th. When that happens, a lot of times we don't get a whole lot of anything, and it's a phantom storm. Phantom meaning that the models think it's there, when in reality, it isn't. So that is 1,000,000% one of the things in play is that this thing isn't a thing. So that's one way of thinking. Here is the Climate Prediction Center highlight, what they did today. If you're unaware, that red area, we are looking at the Pacific. So let me move this over real quick and kind of show you, and I will widen out the view. There we go. So now we're on our side of the basin. There's the red shaded area, greater than 40% shot for development between October 22nd and October 28th. So you see, we are outside of that 7-day window. That is where the Hurricane Center is going to market. So I would have to think that in the next 24 to 48 hours, that we're going to get that thing highlighted by the National Hurricane Center. I think there's enough stuff there that we are going to see that. Now I'm going to take you back to our other weather computer. These are the European ensembles. Where we have brighter colors, that means we have a higher probability that more of the ensemble members of the Euro are online for possible tropical development. So there you see it through the Lesser Antilles. That's like a 60% shot, and then it works its way in. I'll show you the individual members in just one second. But there's certainly something there. Ensembles are hinting at it. That is through October 24th, with something potentially right smack dab in the Caribbean. I will say another thing that can happen. Okay, one of those is Phantom Storm. It's not really a there's something there to track, but look how low it is. Okay, the fact that it's low is something of concern, because if it's lower off of Africa, I mean, it has a better shot to go west, but it might just straight up run into South America, and that's the end of it. Like, if it doesn't lift any further north, this is nothing, because it'll run into South America and then end its development chances. So that's one of the things that can happen. So there is that. Here are the individual ensemble members, and we are about to get in it. So buckle up, because we're going to talk about some scenarios. So scenario one, or option one, is it's nothing. That is certainly on the table. So that's why I don't want anyone freaking out or anything like that, because that is still in the realm of possibilities. 9 to 11 days out from any kind of development. So this is on the 24th. This is as far out as the European ensemble goes. And there's a couple that go out here, and then there's a good chunk of them that's out there in the Central Caribbean. Again, we don't want anything out here. We've talked about how hot and untapped that is. We don't want anything organized in that part of the world. And that brings me to another good point. The GFS, there is a very big convective feedback bias. So the GFS is unusable. So any of the GFS models are just way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. Again, if something gets organized and gets into the Western Caribbean, yes, but its solutions now are just not plausible. So the GFS is garbage. And I was going to say, friends don't let friends look at the 384-hour GFS. That is literally garbage. Okay, so we can't focus on that. What we do focus on at this stage in the game are ensembles. The GFS ensembles, by the way, there's a lot of members on board. Some come up through here, and then some go like this. So 2 distinct camps, west or the turn. We'll get into that in a second. One of the members, or the new tools that we have, the Google DeepMind AI, it's done pretty good the last few storms. This is what it has right now. This is all the way out through the 27th of October. There are those 2 distinct camps again. Out here, that means it's weaker for longer, okay? When it gets stronger earlier, so there's that, and then there's that. We do not want that one, okay? We do not want that track. We want it to get strong fast and get the heck out of here. We do not want this thing gaining strength in the Western Caribbean. So those are the 2 camps that the AI models are in. And remember, not all of those members are online. There's 50 members of the Google DeepMind. They're not all online. So again, the potential is there for this to drop out. So I know that's a wide range of things, but that's what we know right now. The reason for the turn, this is going out through the 24th. It's this dip in the jet stream. That actually works out perfect, the drawing from the before. If the storm is stronger fast, stronger storms have taller thunderstorms, and they feel the tug of the upper level steering more than the lower level steering. So if it is strong fast, it's going to feel that trough earlier and then go up and out. It would certainly still impact parts of the Caribbean. If it is weaker for longer, it would have the opportunity to kind of sneak under that a little bit, get out here, and then get strong potentially. And then this is like, I call it like a dog walking the owner walking the dog. Disturbance down here getting strong. It feels that tug. It goes like that. So if it gets in there, it appears that there are two distinct camps. I think that's closed for business. Yesterday and the last couple of days, they were showing it getting buried down here. So we'll see if this kind of lifting it a little further north is going to be a trend. And again, it's got to do it for a couple days because we don't have much data out there. But that is kind of what we're looking at. Again, right on the money here. Such a wide range of possibilities. I love to have the answers. I do. I don't like being wishy-washy. If you watch every evening on the news, and I hope you do, I don't like saying, oh, it might rain, it might do this. I like to be as exact as possible, because saying it might rain doesn't help you plan your trip, or if you need to put shingles on a roof or something like that. So I do my best to try to do that. In this kind of scenario, there are so many potential outcomes and extreme outcomes of like literally major hurricane or a cumulus cloud. So it's just, we need more data. And we will get that over the coming days. The ensembles will bite a little bit more. We'll get eventual hurricane hunter data once this thing gets close to the Caribbean and they can start their flights. And then we'll be able to determine, okay, how strong is this storm going to get? And then where is this guy? That is going to be your thing right there. Where is that? That's the key on where it goes. But it is related to how strong it goes, or how strong it gets and where it gets strong. It's crazy. Look, it's you're trying to solve a mystery. I call us all atmospheric detectives. We are looking for the clues that the atmosphere is giving us, and we are trying to dissect what is happening. That's exactly what we're doing. We don't have a ton of information. We know somebody did it. Somebody did it. But we need to know who hit Mr. Mustard, Colonel Mustard, with the candlestick in the study. Gosh, I love that game. I haven't played it in so long. Alrighty, guys, I got to get a quick break in. We'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back. We have a couple of minutes here, and all that stuff. All good tonight. Thank you guys for being here. No, I agree with you. It's wild what the GFS does. It's something with its bias that every time something is trying to develop in the Gulf or in the Caribbean, it just goes nuts. Sometimes it's right, but more often than not, it is wrong, and it is really bad early in the season and really bad late in the season when we do have these waves down there. It's really bad with the gyre. This is not the gyre. This is a straight up tropical wave moving in from the Caribbean. So that's what we are watching. Andy, I have, and it is a thing. Most storms that roll through the Eastern Caribbean uh, do not make it. It's a very sheared area. And a lot of them go to die in the Eastern Caribbean. Like Beryl defied that last year. Um, but yeah, more often than not, when tropical systems get to the Eastern Caribbean, they do not perform well. It's more Central and Western Caribbean. That's where the bad stuff is, and that's where we watch. We talked about this earlier. Someone mentioned about the fuel, the tropical cyclone heat potential, and there's a lot of it. So again, if something gets organized, I mean, we're maxing out the color table here in terms of the fuel. This means that it's deeply warm, not just warm at the surface, but if something were to go over there, um, it would it would definitely take full advantage of it. Here's the thing that I'm going to say about the GFS. It can be consistent, but it doesn't mean a thing if it's consistently wrong. And it normally is with a situation like this. The GFS is the only thing that's showing that. And we have to be careful with that because, again, it could run into South America and die completely. So until more things come online and until we get this thing close to the Caribbean, it's gonna really it's gonna be hard to say um, what's gonna happen. Now, again, you respect it because we know the environment. Okay, I'm showing you it right here. If something is organized in the Western Caribbean, there's that. And by the way, there's hardly any wind shear either. Here's the wind shear map. So the environment is very good for storm development. The question is, does the wave make it to the environment? That is the number one question with this. Um, and there are big questions. And if we don't have a wave, to quote The Rock, it doesn't matter what the environment is like. And that's what we need to be careful with. And that's what, we need to get more information on if the wave survives the main development region, which is super hostile. Remember how many hurricanes the Euro and GFS both showed in the main development region? But holy cow, we all know it. They've not come into fruition. So maybe I'm a skeptic on that. But anyway, have a great night, guys. I have to get ready for News 6 to 10. We are always watching, of course. Not taking my eye off of this one and all this stuff. But Meme Studio, do we have a higher chance of rain this week because of the cold, or is that causing no rain? I know Spring Hill. We're going to talk about that on Thursday, if you remember. The drought monitor is starting to increase for especially Northwest Florida and the Panhandle, and then also down I-75. We need the rain. I don't think the rain is going to be all that much, but maybe for Spring Hill, it might be. Spring Hill might get a decent shot there. But it would be because of that cold front coming in on Sunday. And that's going to be it there. The euro, it's going to back off. It's the models are just going to flip flop because it depends upon what they're seeing in the environment and where the wave is. It's basically like, I don't know, you walk into a dark room and you're trying to find something, a gold watch or I don't know, and you're trying to search for something in the dark. Maybe one time you're gonna find the bag of money, and then the next time you're gonna find a bag of buttons. There's just nothing. There's nothing to latch onto right now, and so they're gonna go back and forth, and it's like the butterfly effect. If something is wrong early, the error is gonna be maximized, and we're talking 10 plus days away, and all that stuff. Alrighty, I'm up against it. I think I'm being kicked off because New 6 to 10 is gonna start in like 30 seconds. I'll see you guys right there, New 6 Plus, and on the New 6 YouTube page. I'll see you tomorrow night. Great questions, great conversations. I love you guys. Travel. Good to see you, my man. Hope you're doing well overseas. Peace out.